Have you gone crazy, Max? Have you gone crazy? Why would I admit to Tufao that Jorginho is my son, and that I've lied to him all of these years?
So now the one who's sugarcoating things here is you. What is it, Carmina? When Rita showed up, all right, you got depressed, but you got back up on your feet and bounced back. And now that things are getting tougher and you're in really dire straits, you won't? What's up? Let's move on. Come on.
Man, what you're suggesting is suicide. How can I admit to Tufao and to the whole family that I abandoned my own son at a dump site? And that I used him, pushed him into raising that same son I had with another man? What do you want? What the heck do you want? That they blame me forever? That they kick me out of this house?
All right. Let he who has not sinned cast the first stone. All right, then. All right. Your debt is huge, but so is the credit that you have with Tufao and the rest of the family, Carmina. Pay attention to me, girl. Tufao ran over Janicio. You became a widow, my dear, and he is not in jail, okay? Because you forgave Tufao, right?
Who's gonna remember that in this situation? Nobody remembers anything. In these situations, one yells, kill, the other skin.
All right, of course you will not tell him the whole truth, because then we'd be really screwed, right? But you're good at this, right? So relax. You tell him the sad story, and I'll work, I'll make up a little. You're really good at this, Carmina.
Oh my God, it doesn't feel like this is happening to me. My God, it doesn't feel like it's happening. It feels like I'm in a nightmare, Max, and I can't wake up.
Listen here, we don't have much time to waste. You've just told me that Jorginho has ways to prove that his whole story is true. So you have to get ahead of him. Play the role of the repentant victim here. Say that you were afraid of Tufao and that you've really made a mistake for love. Something like that. Just make something up.
It is not possible. Are you still here, mister?
Miss Lucinda, no need to call me mister, no, all right? We have so much in common, isn't that true, huh?
We don't have anything in common.
Well, hello and welcome. The case for a new voters register. It's still hot on the press and we need to discuss and try and get to the bottom of it. Why? Because yesterday we spoke to Nanel Kumia, who said the MPP had a smoking gun. We've all heard from General Mosquito Asiedun Ketia, who's literally taken this smoking gun, disarmed it and doused it in water. Challenging that, you know, this Togolese register could be fictitious because it has no names, no sex, and no ages on it. Therefore, it could have been concocted from anywhere. I am confused. I don't know which way to turn. So I have two guys from either side in the studio who are going to take their time and try and let us understand where it is that we got here and how it is that we go forward. Are we going to get a new register? Are we going to amend it? Or are we going to work with what we have? When I come back, I am talking to Solomon Nkansa and Obi Yamwa. I will introduce them properly. My name is Nana Ansakwao, and today I am very confused. This is PM Express. We are coming back. Thank you very much for staying, and we are looking at the critical matter of the case of a new register or not. Now, we all know that all over Africa, nations have broken down, nations have fallen down, all at the disagreement when we get to the ballot box. Now, one of the deals in getting to the ballot box is that we write all our names and presumably we are citizens or have a strong stake of that country, and then we choose who we want to represent us since we have a representative government. So when it is that the MPP has come out to say that, hold on, there are lots of names on the register who do not belong to us and therefore have no stake in deciding who represents them since they're not here. It's a calls for concern. However, the NDC is saying that that is absolutely bogus. Leave it as it is. There is no silver bullet. Even if we clean the register now, they're all coming back to join it. And in any case, are there even any names in there at all? And that's where we are today. To my immediate left is Solomon Nkansa, who's the National Communication Officer for the NDC. Solomon, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Been a while, brother. And then I have Obi Yamwa, who is the chairman of the Parliament Subsidiary Legislation Committee, and also Honorable Member of Parliament for Equiapam South. Obi, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Watching your program is very impressive, and I'm privileged to be part of it tonight.
Well, thank you very much. In that case, I'll start it because he give me funds. I'll start with
no
it.
problem.
Obi, now, at one time, you know, half of the nation was thinking, wow, this must be terrible. If there are all these names showing up on the voters register, we don't want them. But then this morning, the NDC then comes up and says, oh, forget about it. It couldn't be accurate. The Togolese side pictures don't have names on it. They just have digits. They could have been concocted from anywhere. And there don't seem to be any middle ground. Everyone on NPP is saying this is fact and needs to be changed. Everyone on the NDC side says, no, this is bogus and it should stay safe. There's no middle ground. So we, the citizens, are confused.
Well, thank you again, and good evening to our cherished viewers. Well, we all appear to have come to agree that the biometric registration is the way to go. We used to have the manual registration, more or less face only. Then after much agitation, indeed even from the MPP, the Electoral Commission appeared to have agreed that that was the way to go. And then even when the MPP also asked for no verification, no vote, it took some time for the Electoral Commission, especially the chairman, to agree to such a new method of registration. We all know the benefits of it. Apart from your face, the fingerprints, you are unique. So that is the way to go. Unfortunately, when we started the whole process, because of one, lack of funds, proper training, etc., we encountered a lot of challenges. Indeed, everybody who was part of the registration exercise would attest to the fact that we had serious challenges during the registration period in 2012. In fact, to the extent that even MPs were a bit worried and alarmed and had to invite the then chairman, Dr. Frejan, to Parliament to brief us on the whole process. Indeed, he came to confirm that they faced a lot of challenges. Some of their staff, they were not well versed with the technology, were not really trained this whole process. To the extent that he confessed that after they had registered about over 12 million voters, they still had over 1 million hanging. They had invalid codes. That's how he put it, invalid code. They couldn't place them anywhere. And that he was giving us the assurance that they were going to do everything to ensure that these 1 million so-called missing registers or registered voters would have a place. We took his word for it and everything. Now, come elections itself, there was this issue of people who would go to the voting center and could not be verified. The assumption was that if you could not be verified, you'd have to go home after some tries. Some went. Eventually, they had to even extend the elections to the next day. In fact, there were credible reports that in some places, if you could not be verified, we were asked, all those persons were asked to be in one queue and then allowed to vote later on if they could confirm that indeed it was them. So obviously, even though we've gone biometric, we have a lot of challenges. Almost everybody accepts it. Indeed, some in civil society and academia have said that we agree there are problems with it, but we should audit instead of new register because of such problems. But beyond that, it turned out that even the figures did not add up. Why do we say that? If you recall, during election petition, one major issue that came up was that there was a huge disparity between the figures for parliamentary register and presidential register. And the explanation the EC gave was for the fact that Ghanaians living abroad were registered only to vote for presidential because they couldn't vote for parliamentary. The difference was 241,000. And what the EC said was that these were those who had been registered abroad. The court demanded the register, the numbers. The EC was only able to bring just over 2,000.
Has the other number been proven to date?
To date, they have not been able to tell us that disparity, how it came about. The figures have still not been explained. It's still not been explained. What they brought to the Supreme Court had a list of 2,000. We extracted 705 from it as diplomas abroad. And indeed, we ended up with even 55 multiple registrations on that register. Now, there was also this issue of 13.6 million for the parliamentary register and 14.1 for presidential, difference of 500,000. At one point, there was also a difference of 127,000. EC said it was a coding error, etc., etc. So we have all sorts of figures coming up. As we speak now, you have situations where people are holding voter ID cards. Perfect. Issued by the EC. They go to a place like the bank. They use that as identity and it's rejected. Why is it rejected? Because they go to the register. The person holding that card has his name there, but it's a different voter ID number. Indeed, it has even come out that if you pick the daily printouts, which were given to all of us, because we insisted that every day that we register, there should be a printout for all of us to agree that this is what has been done. We have a situation where the voter ID number on the daily printout is different from the voter ID number on the card. It's different from voter ID number in the register. It appears we had all the good intention, but either lack of experience, lack of education, lack of time, everything, we botched the whole thing. Now, the other major issue that has even come up is that, of course, when the EC submitted CI 72 for registration to Parliament, one of the issues which came up was that you could register with the National Health Insurance card. EC explained and insisted that it was one of the easiest means of identification. So Parliament should allow it. Parliament allowed it. Subsequently, it turned out that you don't need to be a Ghanaian to hold that card, unlike all the other ones requirements. It's a passport, a driver's license, National Identification Authority card, etc. And within a short period, 905,000 persons procured the health insurance card. It's not certain, but if you go to the data, most probably some of these would have used it when they didn't need to prove that they were Ghanaians. So the issue then is that if there are all these controversies surrounding this thing, the latest, of course, is the foreign registration, which the party is still working on. What we've seen is just a tip of the iceberg. So I try not to even make it a main issue. I try to stick to what we have seen all this while. If you add that to it, the major issue is that we seem to have a problem with the register.
Before I bring Solomon, can we have a new register when we don't have a silver bullet, i.e. we don't have a national ID system or a way in which we can identify that you are 12, you are 14, you live in the Dumasa and you don't?
Well, the problem is that probably we may not need to register anymore until we have all those things. Indeed, our friends from the other side, this morning I spent about 30 minutes debating their national organizer on one of the airwaves. Their main issue is that if we reopen a register, it's an avenue for the MPP to register minors from their strongholds. They've kept repeating that. But I drew his attention to the fact that whatever the situation, come February next year, EC has prepared a budget to register those who have hit 18 and those who have never registered. So are you saying that if it comes to registering those who are 15 to 18, if MPP wants to push in minors, MPP cannot push in minors? That's another way of answering your question. That if you don't have a credible system of identification, how do we register? But we see, even after 2012, the EC has carried out limited registration. And then EC is planning to do limited registration again. So taking you back to 2012, after all these numbers, one major thing about biometric registration is what we call deduplication.
Let me bring Solomon here. So, is there nothing at all that we say, okay, with this part, let's put a question mark on it, or with that part, let's put a question mark on it, or is everything completely rubbish?
Well, let me extend my greetings to your cherished viewers and also attempt to amend your title for discussion, a case for a new voters register or otherwise.
Producer or otherwise?
Or otherwise, yeah. You see, I don't envy the opposition MPP at all, because they have decided to do what they believe will help them, not the entire nation. One, my senior brother and then a very experienced member of parliament, experienced in Ghana's electoral laws, and also somebody who has practiced it. So I would have loved it if you were the one who presented MPP's position. Then you now just oppose a man, Obi Amwa, vis-a-vis his position, as against.
Well, but you've just heard his position.
No. You see, as against Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who has not even contested a branch election before in this country.
No, but he was presenting something.
No.
What do you mean it's not considered a branch election before?
See,
He was
there's this adage in this country.
Candidate.
Oh, vice presidential candidate is not the one who is in the helm of affairs. Even another Danko.
Do you have any degree on election laws?
No.
So am I assuming that everything you tell me today is going to be rubbish?
No, but
exactly. But you're going to present your opinion and you have facts
here. But you
here.
agree to the fact that I had been a constituency youth organizer who was NDC's representative at the Collation Center in Takoradi.
Okay, we are deviating.
Okay. Now,
my question before you start is: has everything that would be said? Look, this is all hogwash, or there's an element that you say, look, Nana, as for point 2, point 3, I think we need to rethink.
You see, all what he said were things someone else have said, so he has to what? Expand it further.
No, things that happened.
No.
You came to parliament.
I will walk you through that lane, and you agree to certain things that I've alluded to earlier as we go on. Dr. Kojo Farjan, when he went to parliament, I wasn't there. But parliamentary deliberations are not so preserved of Honorable Obi Amwa.
Sure.
Even though he was a member representing the opposition MPP on the CI drafting committee, that the NDC also sent Alhaji Hudiaya. They requested for legal luminaries from the political parties to help draft that position, so that opposition parties will not come and say that these things were done by the EC, and for that matter, we cannot vouch for its authenticity or otherwise. He represented the MPP. When the EC went to Parliament to talk about the challenge they face with the coding and what have you, they gave timelines that they anticipate to resolve that challenge. The EC sounded that caution to political parties that this is a new system that we were embracing, and for that matter, it will come with some inherent challenges.
Will be alluded to that.
Yes. So you cannot use it as a basis of calling for the replacement of the biometric voter register.
No, but that wasn't his basis.
No, that's why I'm also saying that the call by MPP does not emanate from what he said earlier on.
Okay.
And we should not accept it.
Okay, so that
we should go to things that they said yesterday and things that they have been saying, that the governing NDC party believes that they are all attempts to kind of work on the minds of Ghanaians, that in 2016...
How about the difference in the 500,000 where we're only allowed to produce 700 names?
From where?
The presidential is 14.1, parliamentary is 13.6.
I don't believe in that, and I will explain it to you. We don't have any two registers for any election in this country, and he cannot prove to that. So let me explain it to you, and he will eat back this humble pie. Every parliamentary election is restricted to a constituency. So we have a parliamentary register for a specific constituency.
And then when you total it?
You don't need to do the total. You don't need to do the total. Because we have only one election that has one constituency, which is presidential.
So you're saying this incident never happened?
It never happened. When they went to court...
No, this is a serious program.
Yeah, it's a serious program. Yeah, maybe they are deceiving you. No. When they went to court, they could not stand by it. The foreign voter register he spoke about, they could not defend it at court. He cannot come and say it here.
There was 14.1 for the presidential register, and then there's 13.6 for the parliamentary register.
Maybe, I don't know where you got these things from.
Well, where have you been?
Where have you rather been? Were you not witnessing the court proceedings?
So you never heard that they called for the foreign register and there was only 700 that came? The Ghanaians living abroad.
Maybe you are not aware that no election happened in anywhere in the
Are you aware that the diplomats register in their various ministries?
That is the problem MPP have. And that is what will cure it today on your set. You understand? Let's cure that one. I don't know where they had those things. Mm-hmm. They made those allusions as part and parcel of their case at court. But when it got to that one, they withdrew. They never defended that accusations at court. Ask him. When the court called on them to produce those things, they said...
No, it wasn't up to them to produce it.
He who alleges must do what? I'm asking. Mm-hmm. So he cannot use it here when it did not happen at the court of competent adjudication.
I'm a bit stuck, but let me bring...
bring him in to try to set the record straight.
I don't know if we can...
This is just an extract of the Supreme Court.
I will wait for that one. I'm very much patient on that. 2013
Supreme Court of Ghana Law Report. This is a special edition. Mm-hmm. I just picked the extract from it.
Now, I am more patient than the tortoise.
Let's make progress.
Anyway, while we're doing that, we have the insert of, I think, the IPAC rejecting the MPP evidence, right? So let's see that insert and then we'll continue.
This document Dr. Bawumia is flaunting around was presented, thoroughly discussed, and rejected. And they appended their signature. Now, after that report had been presented and meetings, at least one meeting had been held in trying to look for ways of implementing the reforms contained in that document. Now MPP takes their rejected documents, recycles it, and the General Secretary, because maybe he's fighting to make himself relevant, begins to go from one party office to the other. He meets somebody there, and then televisions capture that. That person says, oh, the party will look at their document and respond appropriately. And it is all over the news that that party which he visited accepts their position to replace the voters' register.
Yeah, so that's their position. So
yes, he's made a point about the Ghanaians living abroad who were registered, and then the controversy about it. I'll just read one paragraph from the Supreme Court judgment. This is just an extract. I can make the reference. No. This is from page 221 of the Supreme Court judgment, 2013, Supreme Court of Ghana Law Report, special edition. This is judgment by Justice of the Supreme Court, Sophia Jinra. One paragraph, it says, another reason given by the Electoral Commission for the variation in the voters register was that initially they had a figure of 30,917,266. But after the registration of Ghanaians working in diplomatic missions and international organizations of which Ghana is a member, Ghanaian students on government scholarship, security personnel, soldiers and policemen who were returning home from peacekeeping duties, this figure jumped from 13.9 to 40,168,890. This was a difference of 241,524. The petitioners, next paragraph, the petitioners asked for a production of the names and biodata of these 241,524. The Electoral Commission provided 2,883 names, 705 of which were supposed to be for diplomatic missions. The petitioners, in examining the 705 names, found 51 of them to be duplicate names with the same ages except the voter ID number. This is exactly what the judge recorded in the matter. 241,000, you produce 2,800, 705 supposed to be diplomatic corps, 51 of them found to be duplicate. That's exactly what I said. And you said it never happened.
It never happened. Now let me explain to you why it never happened.
So the judge lied in the
No,
report?
she didn't lie. These were issues that you alleged. And these were the wait. Let me tell you. If you jump into conclusion of issues the MPP raised, you will not understand those things well. I've indeed told you earlier on that we have only one polling station for presidential. You understand? Mm-hmm. And then parliamentary days of constituencies. And so you cannot have two sets of booklets for the elections. It's the totality of all the elections, including the parliamentary, that sum up to the presidential elections. But the EC admitted that there were typo errors with the figure of that 200 and something at court.
They didn't say that.
You wait.
Typo errors.
That was why the EC provided the 2,000 and over. And you could see to it that 2,000 plus and 200 and something could easily lead to that error. And when they raised it in court, the opposition could not make a case for that. You understand? And the EC made it emphatic that they did not conduct any election in any Ghanaian mission outside Ghana.
That's not it.
So that is the issue. How come the figures?
No, we're talking about registry.
You're talking about register.
I have no doubt. Wait. What would be of importance with a register that did not add vote to anybody? You understand?
So you're not helping me today at all.
Why? Maybe you don't understand electoral issues. The EC in 208.
The host is in trouble.
No, I have no problem with that.
No.
If you get confused with the issues the opposition raise,
okay,
you'll be made to believe that they have a case until you understand the electoral issues and certain challenges that sometimes we are faced with. In 2008, September, the opposition NDC discovered about 1 million and over names on 13 constituencies in Ashanti region. We raised the red flag. The then ruling government and party MPP said the EC is an independent and that nobody can push the EC to do anything. We call on the EC that this is our case. Let us prove it to you. The EC said, okay, come and prove it. When we went and we tested it, the EC realized that yes, indeed, that figure we raised were genuine and they expunged those lists. Now, you talk about the EC in declaring the presidential election results, then they mentioned that figure. He's aware. When they were declaring the results was when they mentioned that 14 million plus. And they made an issue out of that. But when you tally the vote of NDC and that of MPP, there has not been any addition of vote from anywhere to any of them. As against Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's claim on Odo, what do you call that place? Obra Sport, that there were padded votes, there were diversion of vote, there were shortchanging of MPP vote. When he went to court, he did not make any case for that. He indeed talked about irregularities. You understand? So even if the EC talk about 14 point something, and they came back to admit that it was an error, and that indeed the registered voters of diasporan Ghanaians were 2,000 and over. What is the issue? Have they been able to make any case out of that, that the EC indeed lied? They have not. They are still hanging on that. And that is what I want to tell you, that it doesn't change anything. Because human beings are susceptible to errors. And when somebody else and come back to rectify it, you still hang on to that.
Do you have proof of the comeback to rectify? Because I don't.
It was in court. That was why the EC provided that 2,000.
Out of the 241,000?
No. It wasn't out of the 241.
But
the
EC, what I
read. Oh, what you read? Excuse my language. I was in court every day. And what I heard from the EC.
So what would you say with the judge's summary?
What the judge's summary says.
Yeah.
You see, this is something he's producing to you and I.
So you doubt it?
And for the MPP,
yeah.
with my experience of them,
I
don't want to rely on anything that they say. Okay. So allow me to proceed to deal with issues that he raised.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Another thing which has come up in this whole thing is the I don't know. Have we got that insect ready? Okay. Let's listen to this insect and then let's take it from here.
The claim by the MPP that persons from Togo and Cote d'Ivoire have had their names on the electoral register is not only fraudulent, but also constitute a gratuitous attack on the people of the Volta and Brong-Ahafo regions. As far as we are concerned, this claim is a continuation of the MPP's long-standing affinity to tribal politics, through which they associate people from certain ethnic and tribal extractions with wrongdoing and heap on several comments on them. This is unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. You know the regions that border Togo. You have Volta region, you have Northern region, you have Upper East region. So why are you settling on the indigents of Volta region? They should come and explain to us.
Well, thank you very much for staying. Do you think that was a fair comment? That's
very fair.
We'll come back and deal with it properly. But
very fair, in the sense that that has been the siege that the MPP has not been able to deal with. That if you take away the 8 regions that the NDC wins, if you take away Volta region, with the MPP's 2 regions, they will win an election in this country. Any day, any time that election is conducted, minus Volta region, MPP with their 2 Ashanti Eastern will win an election. So they have that penchant of trying to eliminate Volta region if they had the opportunity to do so. So
you don't think it's too harsh?
It's never harsh. That has been their strategy, and most often time than not, if they had any opportunity to talk about, oh yeah, how can?
I thought it was my turn because you made a submission.
Patient,
went for the
no.
And he asked you
see,
about
they
fairness.
gave you the whole world.
You are lecturing
They
us.
gave you the whole world to talk about things that you believed in, When it got to my point, you had problems with understanding of things that are raised.
But
And
I'll give Obi 2 minutes. We'll go for a break and then I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So Obi, let me get 2 minutes to just.
So the issue.
So I'll come back to you. Bear with me. I'll come back to you. I'll give you Obi 2 minutes.
Are you trying to pamper Obi?
Yes, I'm
because
trying to pamper Obi.
he's
You won't bully me.
He's old now.
Yes,
he's
I'm
very
pampering
old
Obi.
person and they don't need
You won't bully
pampering.
me. Obi.
Solo, with all due respect, let's elevate this discussion.
Oh, who has reduced?
Don't bring in this ethnic thing and then fair comment. I'm not interested, frankly, because we've had your officers. In fact, yesterday in the morning I was on Joy TV with Kobe Champo, who said that we wanted this registration exercise because we wanted to register 600,000 people in Ashanti region. I took it as one of those things. Don't create the impression that NDC is special for Ghana, MPP is different. After all, when we were in power, we used to win 6 regions. We haven't claimed that every region is ours or this region is not for us. Don't bring in this, they muddy the waters. The major issue is that what are the challenges that we have with our register? Look, 2012, if you do biometric registration, one of the critical things is deduplication. How do you fish out multiple registration? In 2012, we didn't do it. After all the insistence, those who were in charge of the registration said it was not part of their terms of reference. The EC did not request for it. That there should be deduplication. You understand deduplication?
I understand deduplication.
Okay. On the subject of deduplication, let me just take a quick break here and then we come back and continue. Don't move. Okay, thank you very much. And normally the debate continues whether we are on break or whether we are on air. But I give you 5 minutes on deduplication, which was not done in 2012.
Yes.
So whatever it is was allowed to go.
Whatever it is. What we insisted was that there should be deduplication, even involving reps from the parties. It never happened. The first time that we've done deduplication was the last limited registration exercise, where the EC said they had identified 72,000 persons who had been involved in multiple registrations, and then brought the party reps to come and assist them in confirming it so that they could put it out. That was the first time. That is where they even decided to identify certain persons to prosecute. How come that if we did deduplication in 2012, they couldn't identify anybody for anybody to be prosecuted? The first time that the parties were involved is just the limited registration that we did in 2014, where the parties sent their reps there. We sent Peter McMedu to the EC to assist in that exercise. That was limited. So what happened to the 13 point something and the 14.1, those who had registered? And it was a major challenge because if you remember, even in the course of the registration, somebody was arrested, having registered 15 times. And what they tell you in the answer is that exhibition should be able to address all these things. And sometimes I wonder, do they really understand the system? Indeed, if within a 2-week period, somebody starts registering, let's say in Sefirioso, he comes to Accra, he registers again, gets to a brief, registers again within that period. If you do exhibition, you cannot detect it. The only thing that you can use to detect it is the duplication software, the IFIS and all those things.
Obi, let me quickly jump you forward a bit. One of the arguments is that with the amount of people on a voters register, and if you compare it to the population, it cannot balance. Number one, is it maybe we are more than what we actually are? We haven't counted the population properly. And number two, I mean, I keep saying that Ghanaians are very politically alert, and everybody wants a voter ID card and wants to vote, and we queue for miles to vote. So could that be why we have such high numbers on our...
Which is possible, but it also could be that the system is flawed. for various reasons. Fine, we all complain about minors registering. We all complain about multiple registration. That is even key. That if for a limited exercise you could identify 72,000 and counting, then it means that the major registration you could still identify even more and counting. And what happened? How many were identified? How many were taken out? And what was left? That's just a critical thing. Now they talk about reusing 2010 census and then comparing it and saying that in some districts those who registered were even more than those who were supposed to be in those districts. What we did, because it was 2010, was to even increase it by 2.5% as the average. If you read our document, it's in there. So it's not factual that we just picked the 2010 figures and then compared it to those who had registered and made that statement. We increased it by 2.5%.
So, I mean,
to arrive at that figure, it's on my tablet here. We can confirm it.
What is so
wrong
yes, or dangerous about a new register?
They say MPP will blow to the register. They will register minors.
We, put the checks.
That's their only reason.
I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying what would happen if we decided, look, because we all agree that there must have been minors in there. We agree that the numbers on the register is not. Let's just come up with a new one and see if we get the same. Then we go with it.
You can't give what you don't have to anybody. So what you have is what you must protect. You understand? The issue is that all Ghanaians were looking at for a register that will provide for only one vote for a Ghanaian. And all of us settled on biometric voter register. And indeed in 2012, no Ghanaian has been able to come across to say that I voted more than once.
You expect somebody to say that?
It used to be the order of the day. After every election, MPP accused the NDC, NDC accused the MPP, from Volta, from North, from Asante, from BA, from Eastern.
My question is,
yes,
as a nation, what would be so wrong to say, like, okay, let's come up with a fresh register?
This is a rhetoric. This question must not be answered because we have a biometric voter register that has met our expectations. Okay, except that somebody lost an election through a shortcut means. Let me walk you through that lane before our viewers. I'm coming. No, you see, over here, I have not been able to put across any statement.
Because
you really don't understand things that I say.
You can't help me.
No, I don't need to help you.
You have to.
No. No, listen, perhaps you have your own prejudice or your own position that you want me to speak. No, then leave me to explain it because you and I and listeners, at the end of the day, will come to terms of what Solo was making a very.
But you don't have all the time in the world.
That is why you should allow me to flow.
You don't have all the time in the world.
That is why
so
you are put across your position. I have put across mine. I should be able to explain that of mine. And I don't get that opportunity. How can you understand me? Yeah? You don't need to understand me.
You should
just let me land on an issue. That's all.
Go ahead and land.
You see, in 2012, a political party went to court that a presiding member did not sign.
No party went to court in 2012. Correction.
I don't want to go into that.
You said 2012. No party went to court in 2012.
I have no problem with that. Ghanaians understand what I said.
No, but let's
certain people, okay, some people went to court. A leader or a flag bearer of a political party and his chairman and his running mate went to court. That a certain presiding member did not sign the result of an election. That a certain flag bearer won.
Are we discussing election petition or register?
That makes you uncomfortable.
You're going to land?
I have no problem with that.
Are you going to land on
something?
something?
Uncomfortable. Election petition.
You see, why MPP want this voter register change is what I am trying to explain to you. Okay. That all loose ends has been closed on them. Because if you conspire with some people, and when you go to NDC strongholds and the NDC wins, don't sign, because the constitution says presiding member shall sign. If you don't sign, we'll go to court and that result will be quashed and another will win. And they went to court and the court said that cannot happen.
Okay, so I hope you're going to bring it into the voters register.
That is why I am telling you that one. So I am telling you the rationale behind the call for the replacement of the voter register. Because multiple voting is lost to any political party in this country. And he is arguing for lack of duplication. And you didn't ask me a question on that. You asked me a different thing. I should have been able to banter that.
No,
to tell you that it indeed happened in 2012. Deduplication happened in this country.
How many were brought out?
You see, if you will be patient and allow me to tell Ghanaians what transpired, a lot of people's conscience will be pricked and they will come to terms of that.
Tell me what happened.
In 2012, as the registration was ongoing, the duplication processes was also up, and they were posting the number of people who were doing multiple registration and what have you. And when
educators
posting where? I cannot give you that result here, but if you want all those things, I'll furnish it to you for a future discourse.
But as far as you're concerned, it happened.
It happened.
Okay.
They are just making all those claims to suit their desire for the replacement of the voter register. And I'm telling you that it is flowing from their failure to use shortcut means to win an election in this country. It is also flowing from the fact that all those opportunities are lost on them.
So 30 seconds. So how would the new register benefit them?
The new register may benefit anybody, not only MPP. But what the NDC is afraid of is that now that we have a bird in hand, we cannot go to the bush chasing million birds. That we cannot guarantee for.
Let's hold on to that. Let me take a quick break and then I'll come back. Bird in hand is better than two. Why should we change it? Stay tuned. Well, thank you very much. And let's hear John Boadu's response, and then we'll continue.
This is on record not to have proposed any reform at all in this country. On record. Just last time when we proposed for biometric registration and election, Asedun Ketia was on record saying that her mother, the mother is an illiterate, Ghanaians are illiterate, and they cannot understand what a biometric system is about and all that, and that electoral commission should not do it. So a response from them, is it because they profit from what it is? Is it what it is, or what? What has that got to do with them? Why are they so busy about themselves trying to respond to this? These are issues that we've raised that goes to the core of our elections. Does the NDC even understand what facial biometric recognition technology is about? Do Asedun Ketia understand that? So on what basis is he speaking? Does he know the process through which that is done? He doesn't know. And we are not talking to him. He has no locus in this matter. They are only busying themselves just to also get something to do. I think Asedun Ketia, the General Secretary, have a lot of work to do to get back his lost glory.
Well, thank you very much and for staying. That's the response. But Obi, I'm going to put you in the corner. Makmenu for campaign manager, you reckon, because the name is coming up, and yesterday his name came up again?
Well, I even heard your reporter saying that today at the NEC meeting, that's what we were going to discuss. But it never came up even at the NEC meeting. And then I heard that they said tomorrow is National Council. National Council will endorse Makmenu as campaign manager. It hasn't gotten there. And why not? He's a fine gentleman. He started from polling station, became Western Regional Chairman, became National Chairman. He's now in charge of organizational committee. True blue MPP man. If that's the name coming up, why not? But as I speak now, no names have been submitted. to NEC and to National Council.
You have any favorites or?
No, not at all. Of course, the flag bearer will discuss with us. I belong to NEC, I belong to National Council. He will discuss with us. We will all give our opinions, and then at the end of the day, if he says that this is the person fit, in any case, campaign manager more or less just a head of operations. There are several roles that people play. The electoral affairs committee is very critical. It's not part of the job of the campaign manager, but he oversees all those things. So I'm sure the best thing is to wait when we are ready. We bring out a full list, not only one person, but a whole team prosecuting the agenda.
A case for a new register, are you prepared to go to court to demand a new register?
Well, the situation now is that we submitted our findings to the EC, including full details. So what the General Secretary is saying that when it comes to those on the Togo side, we didn't provide any details, it's not true.
Time is
full
up.
Details.
Time is up. So let me bring my brother here. How far are you going to defend this old register?
We are not defending anything. We are only exposing the opposition MPP, i.e. their intentions and their fears. They believe that 2016 election is lost already, and that the only panacea is to have the register changed
so that we win,
so that they can apply some new techniques and antidote to a federal register, whether it's a biometric or not. For this current biometric register, they have no clue to undermine its credibility.
So if EC decides,
why are you
if
people
decides
always
to bring
not
register,
patient and always sure of yourself? You've made a case, and I am trying to explain it to the ordinary Ghanaian that what you are saying is not born out of honesty and fairness. You understand? Right. Because if you hear the MPP speak, they are not speaking from a position of honesty.
You are
they are very deceptive people.
No, but you can't say this.
You did that in 2008.
I sit here, I'm deceptive.
You see.
I don't belong to MPP.
You are by default a member of MPP. But your character is not like them. You are trying not to just convince.
You keep saying we are rebutting, but you keep deviating.
I am not deviating. This I say should not be palatable to you. Are you a member of the MPP?
No, this is my show.
That's for detaining us.
If your show, you come here to.
That's for detaining us.
But don't let him call for your indulgence.
I hear. Well, thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for watching. Solo, thanks for coming. Ruby, thanks for coming. It's been an interesting debate. I want to say thank you very much to Tanti.
Are you going to entertain the deduplication issue he raised when I finish you with the right position?
So give it to me and I'll put it on there. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you very much to Tanti's Fashion, who sews the shirts for me. And you can get Tanti's on 024-366-2001. And as you can see, my shirts are quite different. Made in Ghana or for Ghana. 024-366-2001. On Thursdays, those of you who follow me on Joy FM, that's my opinion. I think we've done enough for governor. Tomorrow we are going a little bit religious. And I am saying that God said it, so I do not need to prove it. What a dangerous culture we are adopting in this country, and we are using it to abuse children. God said it, so I don't need to prove it. Very interesting piece. Tune in 2 to 3 p.m. on Joy FM 99.7 and listen to my piece tomorrow. But thank you, Sandra, for directing. Thank you, Evans, Mensa, Malik, and Jennifer, all behind the scenes doing productions. Tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you, too.